Well, there Andrew is with the seeing eye dog Tibbs that they would bring into the hospital for kids who were suffering with blindness. You see, when Andrew woke up, he was blind. He was unable to see. But faith still kicked in, and after a couple of days, he saw a little teeny weeny light. Just a little teeny weeny light, and it was just enough. Andrew's vision is like this. If you were to close your right eye, he's totally blind in the right. If you were to put your hand over part of your left, he's totally blind in the left peripheral. He only sees, it's like looking through a little bitty straw, but it's just enough. And we learned some huge lessons from that. When Andrew was time for him to go back to school, he had to use a cane. He was very afraid. His life had changed, my life had changed. The emotional scars were far worse than anything physical. But we had to learn how to play through the foul. He came to me and he said, "Mom, feeling really, really bad. Is there anything worse than losing your sight?" And I said, "Yes, my son, losing your vision." And in the way that he usually looks at me like, "Mom don't know anything. She be making up stuff. Oh my gosh, that don't make a sight vision." I said, "There's a difference. Stick with me. I do know something." You see, sight is physical. Vision is spiritual. Every last one of you has a vision for something. And we're all different. We're all different. Something has been placed inside of you spiritually to say, this is your purpose in life. And you're all busy trying to figure it out, but you have it. Sight is very, very tangible. We tend to trust that a lot. I have to be honest. I have to choose between my sight and my vision. I'm going to trust that vision. I'm just going to trust that vision because I know where it comes from. So Andrew's situation was like this. The way I see it, everyone said, "Oh, this is horrible. He's legally blind." Like, how can you be illegally blind? Just a question. Could be me. Can you be illegal? Oh, you're getting arrested. You're bumping into people. Come with me. Illegally blind. Anyway, so he's legally blind. And everyone said this is going to be so hard for him, and it was. He would go into restaurants, and he would bump into people, and he would get very, very upset. And it was hard because he couldn't see the things that we take for granted out here. And I said, let's flip this thing. Let's stop worrying so much about what you can't see. That's a beautiful thing. See, Andrew, you have no peripheral distractions. See, in life, we have a goal, just like a basketball goal, that we need to focus on. But we're too busy concerned about the worry and the doubt that we won't move ahead. Another example is, because Andrew was so fearful, and I didn't know anything about sighted guide and using a cane. I had to learn as I went along, but I was a basketball coach. So the basketball coach and me kicked in, and I said, all right, we're going to knock this in the bud. We're not doing that fear thing. We're not doing that. I don't want to go. We're not doing that. That's what we're doing. I took him to the most congested place I could find. Downtown New York City, Manhattan. Fashion Ave. And this is what we're going to do. You're going to walk, Mommy, please. I don't want to. I'm afraid. No, you're not. Get your cane, and you're going to walk. But where are people if I bump into people? Well, if you bump into, you get that cane, and you look straight ahead, you just get to swing your hand. You swing it, and you get to your destination. And when you're done, we're going to go see the Lion King. Mommy's crazy. But he did it. And he began to overcome his fear. Sometimes you got to go through a really tough place to gain the courage to move ahead. When we talk about fouls, stress, I have found, is a huge foul. You know, people talk about becoming an expert. Well, somehow or other, I became an expert in stress. And I really became an expert in stress just because I had been through it. And I thought, wow, God has a sense of humor. Why can't I be an expert in money matters? You know what I mean? So I can be rich, you know. Instead, I get to talk about stress because I've been through it. Much rather hit the lottery, to be honest. This is what it does to us. Many of you know this before, and if you're in technology, now this might not apply for you, but I love being around people who are great at technology because this is me. If that thing doesn't fire up and turn on within 5 seconds, I am ready to break it. Okay? Careful with stress because you can pass it on to your children. Speaking of children, there's mine. Yeah, I'm some poor kid's mother. There's my son Andrew on his 12th birthday. Now see, Andrew does not eat cake. He he doesn't like chocolate. There are a lot of things I was questioning, like, you sure this is my cake? This is my cake or chocolate? So on his birthday, I had to make him biscuits. And stick a little candle in there, so there he is on his 12th birthday. When Andrew first got interested in basketball, he said to me, Mom, what's the hardest position to play in basketball? And he was about 7 years old, just starting his little team. He was awful, but it was funny. It was cute to watch little kids play, you know. And he said, is it the point guard? Because that's the one that has to control everything, and he tells everybody where to go on the floor, and he has to remember all the plays. I said, no, I don't think it's the point guard. He said, oh, okay, is it the center? That's the big guy in the middle, like Shaquille O'Neal, right? Shaq. Because he's got to get the rebounds, and everybody's always beating up on him. Is that the hardest position? I said, nah, that's not the hardest position to play either. Well, at this point, he's impatient. Got that, honestly. He's impatient. He's like, well, what's the hardest position to play? I said, sweetie, the hardest position to play is the bench. What? I said, listen to me. It's the bench. See, the hardest position to play in basketball, sport, and in life is the position when you're not playing. When you aren't where you want to be. You see, I learned this lesson really early. I was 18 years old coming out of Fort Washington, Maryland. As far as I was concerned, I was all world. You see, they told me in the Washington, D.C. newspaper that I was the best player that ever came out of Fort Washington, Maryland. Women's basketball. Put my name in the USA Today. Got my little scholarship, went up to Syracuse University with my Jerry curl intact. Juice everywhere. Got to Syracuse University and found out that my coach obviously didn't read the USA Today. See, she sat me on the bench. She said, Vera Jones, I like the way you shoot that basketball, but you don't play a stitch of defense. Well, you know what I did. I rolled my eyes, I pouted, I called her names, I talked behind her back, I drew pictures of her in class with little daggers. In life, there are many of you right now that are on the bench. It's not just me, I can't be the only one with bad luck. There are many of you who are in places, not just in your job, perhaps you wanted a raise, perhaps you wanted to move up, all kinds of things, but in your personal lives. Maybe you have a sick parent that you have to take care of. Maybe kids aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Maybe your husband doesn't do what he's supposed to do. Maybe your boyfriend, I mean, you have all kinds of places and you're not where you want to be. You are on the bench of your life. Some things happen on the bench. Number one, I actually learned how to cheer for others. What a concept. Other people are out there doing great things. It's really not just about me. Who knew? I learned how to cheer for others when I sat on the bench. I also learned how to really analyze the game. When I wasn't in there, I started to notice things. Hey, every time we send the ball over there, the defense shifts, and then that opposite corner's wide open. So when I get in the game and I get my opportunity, I'm going to that open spot. And that's what I did. I went on to continue to think about things on the bench, and the one that was most important, I think, was a test of my hunger. See, when you're on the bench, either you're going to sit there and you're going to say, I am so mad, I'm so frustrated, I'm just going to quit. Or you are going to develop a winner's mentality that says, I am on the bench right now, but I swear I'm going to prove you all wrong. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get in that game, and I'm going to win. All I need is a chance. And as your hunger grows, so does your perseverance, your desire. And you get in there and you learn to passionately play your position. I learned to passionately play my position even on the bench. I decided if I got to sit here, I'm going to have a good time doing it. And so I intended to continue to show her I was a team player, that I could get excited for other people, and that I would take advantage of my opportunity when I finally got in the game. So one of the first lessons I'd like to share with you is whatever you're going through, individually and as a company, can you still passionately play your position even though you're not quite where you want to be? Because the pouting, the blaming, criticizing is a waste of energy.